All right. So this is a different video than just a YouTube. Uh, this little thing popped up in my Twitter feed, and it was one of the OG uh, FPS bros, Fatality, uh, talking about auto aim. uh, M&K versus aim assist, aka with the controller, and yeah, I haven't read it from beginning to end. I just kind of glanced over it like a little bit, and I just wanted to give my 2 cents on it. So yeah, so let's get into it. Okay. Let's address FPS gaming and auto aim assist. And just to note, this wouldn't be so much of an issue if crossplay wasn't as prevalent in modern FPSs. So the whole thing M&K versus aim assist exists is because crossplay exists. Yes, I would agree that for the most part, as long as you're doing pubs in your favorite FPS game, then turn crossplay on and just let everybody play with everybody. Nobody cares. Nobody. That's not really a point of contention. The real point of contention is when it comes to tournaments and the rank playlist of your favorite FPS game. If it has crossplay, then there will be mixed inputs being played together. Is the real issue. And let's just see what your boy Fatality has to say. And no, he's not using ChatGPT. This is me, the human. So I don't know if this was an edit or something. You could easily plug in ChatGPT and probably answer or do a prompt where it's like, ChatGPT, give me the top 5 reasons M&K versus controller and aim assist is good or bad, and it'll probably auto populate some stuff. But no, this is just his 2 cents. And obviously Fatality has, I forgot what game he played. I think it was Quake, and back in the day Quake was on M&K. This was before my time. I only learned about Fatality and the brand of Fatality years later after I think he retired. So, yeah. Let's see. FPS games, and especially online, were only possible on PC from the mid 90s till 2001 when Xbox finally joined online play. Yes, that is true. One of the first games, so this is even before my time, like 90s to 2000s, I would have been about 10 years old ish when all this stuff started popping off. And when Xbox, the OG Xbox, the green, I got the Halo Green Edition one, just sitting there collecting dust. And that thing, when that had Xbox Live, and you could do Halo 2, I think, was one of the first Xbox Live games, or at least the first big one that everyone was all excited for. Was the first, was everybody's, or at least on console, it was everybody's first jump into the pool for online gaming, or at least it was for me anyway. Yeah. So before that, it was Quake, Unreal Tournament, Half-Life, Duke Nukem, and Counter-Strike were possible to play before you ever heard of Halo. So this is also true. One of my first FPSs I played was Halo. But all of these games, what he's mentioning, came before Halo, and all of these games were on PC. So, yeah, no point of contention there. This was the golden era of online play. Much the same way that I hear this argument in bodybuilding. Everybody in their own era thinks their era is the golden era. This is the best time. what I think what he means to say is this was the time where there was the most competitive integrity. Is I think what he, just to elaborate a little bit, the most competitive integrity, because yeah, while there were probably cheaters in all these games, they were way less prevalent because the internet back then was in its very infantile state. I'm talking AOL, AIM Messenger, all these types of things. You had your internet was plugged into that little Ethernet cord in the wall, and when someone called you, it would make a bunch of sounds if you had headphones on, and it would stop. It would stop your game to go on the call. Then once the call was done, you'd get hooked back into the internet. So yeah, that was, there were probably people talking to each other, but it wasn't as massive as it is in current day. This was the golden era of online play, where people respected each other. That's a little debatable. I mean, as far as competition goes, people shit talk each other all the time. Whether or not I mean, again, where people respected. I mean, I wasn't there for all of these types of games. I wasn't around. Well, I was around, but I wasn't around these communities, competitive communities at the time. And if anything, from what I have seen in the past, from any type of lobby that is FPS, the types of communities that tend to get not really fostered, but they just so happen to grow this way. The community tends, the higher in skill level you go, the more toxic the community is. Maybe it might be a little bit different in the upper, 99 percentile of people, where people know each other by name, and it's like, oh, it's that guy. It looks like he's cheating, but it's not actually cheating, or blah blah blah, so on and so forth. I've met this guy in real life, and so on and so forth. It might be different in that respect, but if you're just sitting on a game all day and just grinding lobby after lobby, then there's a lot of shit talking going on. Okay, so though I don't know where, maybe he has some firsthand experience of people respected each other, but from what I have seen in general, people shit talk way more than they respect each other. Okay. People respected each other for good play and not what you see in lobbies today. So, this is probably like a big broad stroke statement right here. This was the golden era of online play, where people respect each other for good play and not what you see in lobbies today. This in ideally what you want, because video games are still in their, this is up for debate, is still, like, compared to stick and ball sports, they're still young, and there's always going to be a barrier of entry into video games versus stick and ball sports. Whereas the barrier to entry for stick and ball sports is you just need a ball and a field or a court or whatever. It's like soccer, basketball, football. Go to Walmart, just buy a football, and then go play. But for games, you need to have a good computer, you need to have a good monitor, you need to have good peripherals, you gotta have a good fucking mouse, you gotta have a good mouse pad, you gotta have the keyboard and all this, that, whatever. All right. So, because for FPSs there are more barriers to entry for video games and less for ball sports, you're gonna have a smaller audience. And when your audience is so small, it'll still grow about the same rate as ball sports, but with not as many people. Okay, so it's just, it is what it is. More people play just casual sports than video games. Okay, so number 2, gaming and I'm just gonna use his word, auto aim. Gaming and auto aim plus today is almost all catered to a 50-50 experience. So I don't exactly know what he means by this. So when he says gaming, I'm just going to assume he means FPS gaming, either casual or competitive, and then aim assist plus today is almost all catered to 50-50 experience. So you win 50% of the time, you lose 50% of the time. I haven't read all of this, but I wonder if he'll mention anything about skill-based matchmaking. But we'll see. Okay, so very similar to Halo gameplay. So 50-50 experience, very similar to Halo gameplay. I'm not sure what he means by this. The days of one player tearing through a game is almost extinct now. Almost extinct. You can still find it. You know, people can still rip aces on CSGO and Val. And depending on what game you're playing in Apex, you know, people can still drop killer games, you know. But for the most part, let's see. So Quake was an arena shooter. Unreal, I think, was arena shooter. Half-Life, don't really know. I just know like the single player game. Duke Nukem, Counter-Strike was either 5v5 or 6v6. So I think Fatal1ty thrived in the arena shooter type of game where it's just kill, respawn, and it's just a kill race. Like first to 30, first to 50. Maybe there are a couple instances where there were objectives and stuff like that, but for the most part, I think I remember Fatal1ty doing just like first to 30 or first to 50 or things like this. I don't exactly remember. It happened so long ago for me. Yeah. The game developers. Ooh, now we're gonna go for the game developers. The game developers cater to the masses. This is true. They cater to the masses because they want to make the most money for their FPS game. The hardcore people of the FPS game will always buy all the little microtransactions, all the little cosmetics, the gun skins, the emotes, the this, the that, the whatever. Your hardcore people will always buy those. What you have to work on is convincing the new player and the mid-tier player to invest into the cosmetics and skins. That's the tough part. The game developers cater to the masses and want everyone to feel like they're good at shooting people in the games. That's what the devs would want. So, but in reality, what do we see on a lot of distributions in competitive games or whatever? We see a standard bell curve. At the middle point, at the 50th percentile, you have the most people. On the ends, you have the least amount of people. The people over here, this is their first game. The people over here, they're on their 10,000th hour. I'm a master of this game. I'm ripping super glide, tap strafe, wall bounce, elite jump into a 360 PK headshot. All right, that type of thing. Or I can one clip a dude from 300 meters out. Stuff like that. But in reality, most people, as far as FPS games go, they suck at shooting. It's hard to shoot. Okay? You have to actually invest in your own skill, which is kind of not really intuitive, because a lot of the times when I'm reviewing these videos, some of these people are saying that when they come home from work, they want to be able to turn their brain off and just relax and enjoy a calming game of Call of Duty. Okay? Which doesn't make sense to me. There's nothing wrong with wanting to come home and relax and play your favorite FPS. There's nothing wrong with that. And turning your brain off. The issue comes when that person, how was I going to say this? The issue comes when this person feels like they are owed something for putting in little effort. That's where the issue comes in. And it's true. It's 100% true. If you're not going to invest in figuring out the mechanics of the game, then what business does the game have to offer you in terms of how easy a lobby is or what type of opponents they stick in your lobby? If you're not going to learn the game, how do you expect to get good at the game? I mean, granted, I'm not going to sit here and argue like passive learning versus active learning or whatever. But like I said, there's a difference between hubs and competitive play. And there's a different type of person that wants to play each one. If you want to have like a person that wants to come home and relax and jump on ranked and expect to excel in ranked, that's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. But that's me just ranting. Okay. Let's see what else. Okay. Double A. Okay. So auto aim plus helps. The plus, I think he means everything that goes along with auto aim, aka aim assist. The slowing of the thing, the rotational aim assist, whatever flavor of aim assist or auto aim as he calls it, helps a ton with what makes people feel like they are actually doing something incredible when in fact they're just holding left trigger. Yeah, I mean, I could get into a whole shebang about aim assist and the different types, and I don't really feel like doing that, but for the most part, in a lot of games and a lot of console games, when a character crosses your reticle, there will be an invisible box that goes around the character, and when your reticle crosses in there, the sensitivity of the controller slows down. And with rotational aim assist, it will not only slow down but also go with the character to some percentage of degree. All right, that's up for debate for whatever game and blah blah blah. But that's the basic gist of it. Mouse and keyboard is hard to master. True. Because it's an actual skill. True. Not to say that playing any competitive game at a high tier on controller with aim assist is also a skill, but only in that as long as everybody else is on the same input. As long as everybody is on the same input, then this argument can be made that the controller is also an actual skill. And also, I wonder if he's going to mention what do you call it? Gyro aim and flick stick, because that is what I believe a very underutilized thing that Roller Bros are missing out on. But anyway, mouse and keyboard is hard to master because it's an actual skill. Okay, we already went over that. It's kind of like saying it's hard to dunk a basketball. It's kind of hard. It's saying it's hard to dunk a basketball. I mean, it is hard to dunk a basketball, and it is hard to aim on M and K, because on M and K, a lot of the time, it's a person versus a person what you're doing, but in the beginning stages of learning M and K, you're battling with yourself, with your nerves. You have to have smoothness. You have to have speed. You have to be able to read the target. Are you gonna strafe? Are you gonna mirror strafe? Are you gonna anti-mirror strafe them or whatever? There's a ton of different things that can be said about M and K. But let's keep going. If I could just hold left trigger and dunk a basketball in real life, that would be insane. True. Just like aim assist is now for everyone. It's insane. Yes, with aim assist, it's very easy to keep the reticle on the character until that character is dead, depending on the time to kill for your game. All right. And depending on whatever game that you're playing, a high time to kill, aka something really fast, like it's very easy to kill somebody, is kind of considered a low skill unless you're talking about TAC FPSs, in which case you need a lot of precision to put a reticle on somebody's head, versus something on the polar opposite side, which would be something like Apex, where the time to kill is probably on the longer sides. And it's just hard to kill somebody on M&K when the time to kill is so long. But that's number 3. Okay, let's keep going. Aim assist today is not what aim assist was 20 years ago. Aim assist plus. So speaking of this, I was watching, I think on Scump's stream, they were doing like this tournament thing, and it was like a throwback playing the old Call of Duty, like some of the old Call of Duties. I think they were playing Black Ops 2, I believe. And some people were bringing up clips where the pros were just intentionally, well, not intentionally, they were accidentally missing their shots in very confusing ways. And apparently somebody was asking, hey, who turned off the aim assist? And then somebody else chimed in, hey, back in the day, aim assist wasn't that strong. And apparently that was a conversation that was had in there. So that's just my, like, something I observed or whatever. So even the pros, like, has aim assist been getting stronger and stronger over the years? That's up for debate, and is obviously going to be very contextual around what game you're playing. So yeah, there's that. And okay, let's keep going. M&K has been around forever. True. I literally learned in 1995 how to use the mouse for Doom 2. All right. It was a legendary moment because it was far superior to controller, or hitting left and right and control on the keyboard to shoot. I will say this. For a lot of time in my early life, I played on controller and I played on console, and I thought I was the bee's knees playing Call of Duty and Halo and all these other games. I thought I was hot shit. But then I decided I think it's time to grow up and try to build a computer. All right, never built a computer before. I wanted to be a PC gamer. I wanted to see what I was missing. And so I did that, and it took more time than it should have. Okay, but that's not the point. But once I got the thing up and running, I tried to play FPSs with the mouse and keyboard, and surprise, surprise, I sucked ass. This comes as no surprise to anybody. Whatever sensitivity I would play on, I would end up having to lower it until I was doing all this gigantic arm movement shit, and I ended up getting like a big ass mouse pad because, oh, if I play on low sense, I need a big pad. That's what all the boys do. But no, it doesn't have to be like that. It does not have to be like that. If you train your aim, it is possible to get better. Neuromuscular and mind to muscle connection. It is possible. Yeah, but let's keep going. M&K is okay. Oh yeah, something else I wanted to hit on this. People that have played only controller don't know what they're missing out on in terms of overall movement and gameplay if they've never played any FPS on M&K. When I first started playing games on M&K, it was very freeing. It felt really good. The thing that was holding me back was my understanding of how to utilize the tools. All right, but the understanding part just comes with time. All right, and you can accelerate that by getting a coach. All right, it sounds silly, but hey, facts is the facts. M&K is greater than controller. Okay, basically forever until aim assist came around recently. This is him referring back to as long as aim assist keeps getting stronger and stronger. The real thing with aim assist is that it is more consistent at close range than M&K is at close range. And it's just a consistency thing. That's all it is. If you're trying, and for the sake of a tournament, for whatever amount of money, are you gonna gamble on something that is inconsistent, like an inconsistent input for, like M&K, where you're just like having to bank on your ego and your skill that you've built up over thousands of hours? Or are you gonna play it safe and plug in a controller and play with something that is way more consistent, more safe? If something happens, hey, it is what it is, but I played to my strengths and what I thought was the best idea. Yeah. So let's keep going. Number 4, console games didn't allow M&K. This is pretty true. To my understanding, I think there are some devices where you can plug in like a mouse and keyboard on console, but really, who gives a shit? Let's see. I would have loved crossplay in the 2000s. I think one of the first crossplay. I keep bringing this game up. The first games that I experienced that had crossplay was Shadowrun, and it was this. I think it was 5v5 type game where it was capture the flag, and all the classes that you could choose. It was like you could have like a big orc or an ogre thing with a Gatling gun, and then you had like a dwarf that could, if you get close to somebody, it sucked their magic away or some shit. And then there was an elf with it could regenerate its own health, and it was guns and swords, and what else? Guns, swords, and magic. And there was like an elf with like an SMG, and you could like dash away and do all these other things. It's like that was the first game that I think integrated crossplay, because I played at the time on controller. And yeah, I mean, crossplay is great when it comes to allowing people to play with each other, because like, come on, it's just a game for the most part. It's just a game. If I want to play with some boys that are on computer, or I want to play with some boys on a console, you should just let them. All right. Who gives a shit? Every lobby would have been dead, and game developers know it. Oh, so he's talking about separating the lobbies. Okay, so to my knowledge, the only game that I played that separated the lobbies was Halo Infinite on release, and I played it. I played a couple days of Halo Infinite, and it was all right. It wasn't bad. But when it first dropped, the multiplayer for Halo Infinite, you could switch the lobbies and do cross lobby, or just input like M&K only or whatever. And I think at the time, everybody, like, it had an inflated player number. Like, everyone was playing it, so you could easily get into M&K only lobbies. But I would be hard struck if I were to boot up Halo Infinite now and try to find an M&K only lobby. It would probably take a couple minutes, if I'd be willing to guess, if not longer, because for the most part, M&K is, like you said, it's hard to master, and people don't want to take the time and effort to put in something that's really hard to master. They want to just plug in the easy thing and let the thing do the work for them. So people are going to take the path of least resistance, and they're going to do, in general, what's easier. Okay, so they made sure to stay out of that arena. Every lobby would have been dead, and game developers know, so they made sure to stay out of that arena. Yep. Because if your game takes too long of a time to get into a lobby, people are not going to play your game. I don't think this is much of an issue as far as like public matches go. This becomes more of an issue when your game has a ranked lobby. And the higher you go, obviously, the more hardcore players are, they're going to be a little more lenient in terms of how long they're willing to wait to get into a quote-unquote fair match or fair-ish match. But people in, I don't know, bronze, silver, gold, plat, they're a little less willing to wait so long to get a fair match. Today, the game devs are constantly trying to find that 50-50 experience, which is kind of ridiculous to me. The 50-50 experience should only apply, like, you should not try to aim towards a 50-50 experience. All right, there's different brackets, you know, if like just break it up into like a basic 33 33 33. When you're on the low side, like the 30th percentile, you're probably going to lose more than you win, okay? If you go in the middle, then you can have that 50-50 of win-lose. And if you're over here on this third, like around the 90th percentile, you're probably going to win more than you lose, okay? I mean, as skill-based matchmaking has tried to fix this, but a lot of the times when you're stuck between that 50th percentile to about 80th percentile, and you're stuck in like right there, every match constantly feels like $1 million tournament. Everybody is like, for Call of Duty, everyone's like slide jumping and crouch sliding everywhere. They're just bunny hopping around corners and doing all this pre-aiming shit. If you're not running a meta build, then you're just a loser, okay? And it feels, and it's just, it gets your blood pressure up, okay? And for a casual experience, I don't think that's good. I mean, if you're a dev and that's what your aim is for, and that's what you're trying to aim for, then great. But don't be surprised when once players keep playing your game and they get incrementally better, and then they reach that point around the 50th to like the 80th percentile, don't be surprised when they just want to quit. Okay, so, okay, and that's why Aim Assist Plus was introduced to compensate for the controller's deficits in crossplay. Yeah, so there's a whole thing of pros and cons for controller or for MNK. Essentially, controller's good at close range. MNK is good at mid to long range. Controller, you have infinite smoothness. MNK, you have to work at your smoothness. You know, it's just a TLDR version of it. There are obviously way more things I could go into, but I'm just going to keep reading. Heck, people were switching to controller just because of Auto Aim Plus. Yeah. I mean, people are always going to take the path of least resistance. When it comes to people that don't have real jobs and all of their money comes from tournament winnings and just doing tournaments and so on and so forth, they are obviously going to take the path of least resistance and less work, because nobody cares about the guy that did the same level of thing just harder. Okay? That just does not happen. Very rarely in life does that happen. Okay? That's why metas within games exist. A meta means this is the best gun. This is the best build. Why is it the best? Because you have to put in the least effort for the most return for the thing. Okay? That's how that works. It takes away from the pureness of the game, which is unfortunate for pro gameplay. I mean, he's referring back to competitive integrity. I mean, just keep the rollers with the rollers and the MK bros with the MK bros. As far as competitive integrity goes, but when it comes to tournaments and what makes money, there's no freaking way that you're gonna build a tournament for your favorite FPS and have two separate tournaments going on. This is the controller tournament and this is the MNK tournament. Okay? That's literally never happened, or at least I've never seen it happen. All right? Now, what does work is, okay, I'm watching a Quake tournament. I know everybody that's playing Quake is on MNK. I know if I'm watching a Call of Duty tournament, everybody that's on those teams for Call of Duty, they are on controller. Never have I seen a separate M&K Halo tournament and a separate controller Halo tournament. That does not exist. All right? People, that would be too much effort for people to wrap their head around. Okay. It's all about teamwork now. Yeah, a lot of FPSs nowadays, it's less about the gunplay and more about the game sense and the teamwork is what he's referring to now. When a lot of times in FPS, it's hard enough just to develop your own skill as an individual. And now you want to slam individuals together. All right? Hell, if the enemy team, if you're not getting enough shit talk from the enemy team, you're going to damn sure hear it from your own teammates. Hey, can you switch off this character? Hey, can you play this other character? No? Okay, well, you're fucking trash. Get out of here. Muted. All right, that's what you hear. That's what you hear, man. I'm not lying. If the enemy team ain't shit talking you, most likely your team is shit talking you. Let's keep going. M&K versus controller conclusion. I'm all about the M&K as it's what defined the upper pinnacle of gaming and esports forever. Well, obviously he's going to be a little bit biased because that's what he grew his brand on. So that's understandable. The upper pinnacle of gaming and esports forever. I'm sure if you talk to anybody in Call of Duty that played Call of Duty for as long as I can remember, that they will say that controller is the pinnacle of, like, the upper pinnacle of gaming when it comes to esports forever. So the conversation depends on who you're talking to, really. Even to this day, the biggest esports use M&K. Are you sure about that? Because I'm pretty sure esports in general is struggling real hard right now. Even to this day, biggest esports use M&K. Like, what esports are there? Like, the biggest one that I can think of, like, let's go through this. Let's go through. Just off the top of my head. Okay, what do we have? We got Apex. Okay. How do I increase font? Increase font. Blah, blah, blah. Format, font. Font style. Sure, the bold one. The big one. Sure. We got Apex. Apex Legends. What is Apex Legends? It's both. It's both inputs. You can argue whether or not one is more dominant. Only Respawn has that information. Whatever. Okay. Let's see. What else? We got Halo. Okay. What is Halo? Roller. Okay. But honestly, Halo ain't doing that good. Last time I heard. I mean, yeah, you can watch like a Twitch broadcast of the Halo tournament, and anytime I see a big ass Halo tournament going on, it's only about what, 10K-ish, maybe if they're doing like their Super Bowl World Halo tournament, it'll get a little bit higher, but it's I don't know. I just don't really pay attention to Halo. I don't think it's I could be completely wrong. Halo could be popping off and I'm just unaware about it. But yep, let's keep going. What do we got? We got CS and we got Val. Yes, you could separate them. I would say they're about equal in terms of popularity. Yes, you could probably say CS is a little bit more popular because it came first and it's been around the longest with the less changes. But okay, what is this? CS is M&K. Boom. This Val, M&K. Both of these are pretty popular. So if you're using these two games as a flagship to say the biggest esports use M&K, well then yes, I would agree with you. But these are not the only games in video games. What else do we have? We got Quake. Quake not doing so good. You know, anytime there's a Quake tournament on, yeah, it pops off a little bit, but it's it's, I don't know, maybe we're 3 to 5K. It's also M&K. What else we got? We got COD. All right. What is COD primarily played on? COD primarily played on the roller. All right. You can argue COD is one of the most well-known franchise IPs in the world. You know, I could argue that easily. We got Fortnite. Oh my goodness, Fortnite. I have no idea. Isn't Fortnite both? I have no idea. I am so unplugged from Fortnite. I am so unaware. I do remember hearing some bullshit about Fortnite. Like, aim assist was so strong, all the M&K bros are switching to roller. But then to build, it's way easier to build on M&K because it's easier to move your shit around quicker. I have no idea. What else do we have? We got Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six. I can't spell Siege. I think this is both, or I could be wrong. Is this M&K only? I'm not sure. M&K. I'm not. I got no idea. Bop, 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 bop. Yeah. So, but to my knowledge, Rainbow Six isn't that popular. It's like I don't really ever see any Rainbow Six tournaments going on. After this, what do we have? What are some other big IPs, shooter bro IPs that have tournaments? Outside of this? Oh, Overwatch. Overwatch. How could I forget the boy? Overwatch 1 point what okay, I'm kidding. Overwatch is M&K, but to my knowledge, Overwatch ain't doing so hot right now. Okay. What else? So I guess just doing like a little off the top of my head type thing. It kind of seems like M&K is a little bit more dominant, but I would say I'm biased because I don't play a lot of controller FPSs. I'm sure I'm missing some, 100%, but this is just like a 2 seconds, just run it down, the most popular ones. Trying to think, what else is on console? Battlefield? Nah, there's no tournament for Battlefield. I think this is fine. So even to this day, the biggest esports use M&K. That's kind of true. It depends. If you're using CS and Val as your flagship games, then probably. But you know, I could also argue that as easy as it is to watch Counter-Strike and Valorant, I honestly think Counter-Strike and Valorant are extremely boring to watch. But I'm not the target audience, even though I am on M&K. I'm just not the target audience for it, so it's whatever. I can't see myself ever really playing on a controller. Ooh, controllers in all caps. Or an FPS game. Okay? So, I will say there is one redeeming factor for controller. That is, what did I say earlier? Flick stick and gyro aim. So, okay. Oh, and then he caps it off with, imagine if you had aim assist with mouse and keyboard. Target, 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 target. Oh man, this is funny. Funny enough, I have played one game that allowed M&K to use aim assist, and it wasn't a competitive shooter at all. It was actually a, what do you call it? It was a single player game, and it was like an Aliens game. Like, you know, the brand Aliens. I think it was like called Aliens Fire Team, Elite Fire Team, I think is what it was. And on one of the guns, you were allowed, one of the features or the bullet points on the gun was like, you get aim assist or something along that line. And, you know, you have your normal sense, you're whipping it around, but then I think when you ADS'd and you put it over an alien, the sense would just slow down, so you'd go to more arm aiming versus like wrist. And I was like, holy crap, this feels good. But it is a little jarring in that most of the time on M&K, you're playing on one sense. You're playing on one sense, uh, you know, either aim down sight or hip fire. I mean, sometimes you can bump it down when you ADS. You know that people do that. So it was just foreign to me playing M&K with aim assist. That'd be like a separate skill you'd have to develop or whatever. What I was saying before about gyro aim with flick stick. I think this is a thing in Fortnite. So gyro aim is when you take a controller. I got one right here. Come on. Okay, come here. Okay, you take the controller and you can aim wherever you want when there's like gyros inside the controller, and the reticle goes wherever you want it to go as long as you move the controller a certain way. So, all of a sudden it's like a mouse. You got the same sense. You can flick around. There's no built-in smoothness. So then what do you have? You need to have some way to do a 180 or a 90-degree flick really quick. So I believe, I could be wrong, what they call is flick stick in Fortnite. So, you aim specifically, like you micro aim with the controller, and if you want to do like a 180, you just flick the stick just really fast, like boom. And the controller will be able to tell if you did it really hard, then it'll do a 180. Like if you flick it backward, it'll turn you around. Or if you want to do a 90 degree to a left or the right, you just flick it one way or the other and it just goes. So I do think there is a redeeming factor for controller when it comes to that type of aiming. But unfortunately, I don't see a lot of gyro aim / flick stick bros that are popping up on the scene when it comes to FPS games. But I think that would be at least some sort of respectable alternative to just aim assist plus. But I mean, I'm just some dude just micro examining a fucking tweet for just because what else am I doing? Okay, so just take it with a grain of salt. If you think anything else, I'd be interested to hear what you got to say and just listen. All right, so that's about it. All right, so take it easy, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.